Welcome to Spain. Buenos dias, Tanya.
Buenos dias.
So, this episode is going to be how Spain puts a smile on our face. And we came up with this topic because we have a collective Spain because we wanted to do this episode to be about tortillas.
That's not happening.
Can you tell our listeners why it's not happening?
Yes. So we start. So we had this great idea because we've been talking about it now for I don't know how many weeks that we're going to go and try this amazing, supposedly amazing tortilla restaurant. Well, it's a regular cafe, but they have really good tortillas as part of their tapas.
It's a bar.
It's a bar. Sorry. Yes. Bar restaurant.
Cerveceria. So it's really just a beer hall, I'm assuming, right? Is that what that kind of means?
I don't
Cerveceria?
know. I don't know what they are because we haven't managed to make it there yet.
Nope.
So what happened is the first time we went there and they were closed. Now, in all due respect to the scenario and Spain, there was a holiday the day before. So it is possible that, we had picked that day because the kids were going back to school and we were like, we just want to do this, the two of us, because we didn't want kids being like, ew, I don't like this tortilla and I don't like this one. So we were like, we're going to go just the two of us and enjoy it together. And we went there and they were closed. And we just, which happens a lot to me, but I think we've talked about this before. This does not happen to you that often. This happens to me all the time.
I don't get not with the frequency in this. I don't think not with the frequency that occurs for you in the country doesn't happen here. But now I've been proven wrong. So.
But maybe because you're with me, I might be the person that drinks these things. So for me, I was like, oh, it's closed, and there was a really lovely cafe across the street, little restaurant, breakfast, the bakery. So we went over there and we had a lovely breakfast. So this is how it works. The thing that you want to do isn't happening for whatever 25 million reasons it's not going to happen. You got to go find something else and enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the thing about living in Spain, right? So it's or living anywhere that you're not used to is things to get done differently, and you can either be angry and resist and push back, or you just, since I've lived here, I've learned to accept things a lot more. I've become more zen in that regard, in that you're like, well, it's not here. It's not going to do me any good being upset over some what is that? What's that thing? What's that Serenity Bear? Don't get upset about the things you can't change and accept the things you can, or whatever that thing is.
It's that living in Spain for sure. Well, and I mean, and we posted the video on YouTube and everywhere, like on our social media of where we ended up and the breakfast we ended up happening. So I don't think anyone's going to be feeling that sorry for us. Actually,
no, they won't.
It was not bad.
And I have to say, we kind of negated ourselves because on last week's episode we were talking about how the pastries here aren't so good, and then we ended up having like a delicious pastry.
Well, I think in all fairness, we were talking about how the cakes and things aren't very good.
Right.
The pastries, as far as like croissants, and I had like this kind of sweet croissanty type thing with like walnuts on top. It was so good.
It was so good.
It was really, really good. And you had a bocadillo, so we had a really good breakfast, and no one's gonna feel sorry for us. But we were like, okay, let's try it again. Right.
and just so you all know, we're not blindly. We checked on Google Maps and it said it was open. Had a little green bar. Hours are good. And so we tried again a few days later. And Tanya texts me, "Yeah, don't get on the bus. I'm driving to you because."
I got there a little earlier than you could get there because I was driving. So I was like, this time I'm gonna drive by it before I park and then walk to it, and I drove by it and I'm like, and this was not a holiday week. This was nothing was going on that week. It was all back to normal. Theoretically, they were still closed. And the person across the street, I asked the person in the bakery we were in before, and I was like, are they supposed to be? He's like, I think that's supposed to be open. I'm like, but he's like, I don't know. So yeah, we don't know. So that's twice we tried. So this second time, I was like, don't get on, Gaetano, don't get on the bus. I'm coming to you. We're going to go to somewhere else. And, it's annoying, but we were rolling with it at that point. And we went for another breakfast somewhere else.
Which a local had one of my Spanish moms from the bus stop who has been recommending this place to me for now almost 2 years, and I haven't been to it, and it is around the corner, so it's really a my bad situation. And she's like, she thinks it's some of the best tortilla tapa y bocadillo kind of places. And I have to say that it's called Texas, and it was darn good. I'm not gonna lie, it was darn good, and it was. I was very happy to be there. It put a smile on my face. We had a nice
We
little.
did. Yeah, it was really nice. We had a really nice breakfast, and I have to say I love the stories from your bus stop. But this is like totally like this really funny thing where you're learning so many things about
Mhm.
Spain and about living in Valencia just from waiting and dropping your kids off at the bus stop. So
Right.
that's like a whole thing,
It
which
is
I
a whole
love.
thing. And we have this forced time together for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how long we get there. Who shows up at what
Yeah.
time. And um the kind of the smile on my face over even the bus stop is that, it's half Spanish, half expats. And they're expats from all over. And there's a Venezuelan, there's a Russian family, um and then there's my Spanish mom friend. She's lived in various places,
Hmm.
and so that us expats, we're all excited about new things we've seen, and so
Hmm.
we're sharing places we've been,
And
and
the
then this
Spanish
and then the
people.
Spanish are like telling us places that they know's the right place, and they're not wrong, like they have their opinions, but like we're getting these different perspectives. Some of us are excited to be here, and then there's the people like, no, that this is the place, like they have the
Yeah.
historically good place to tell us, if
Yeah,
that makes
the place
sense.
that's supposed to be good. And also, I will say, because you've mentioned before that you sort of don't meet a lot of parents from school because you don't drop your kids off at school and that they're older and all that kind of stuff. So just a little caveat that the bus stop is quite a social area,
Hmm.
and they may not be the kids, they may not be the parents for the kids in your girls' grades or levels, whatever you have, but it is a place to meet other people from the school and have some kind of insight into both Valencia and the school, because some of them
Right.
have been there longer than you, I'm
Right.
sure at this point. But what we did do, which was fun, was the place that we were sent to happened to be right next to the place that you were talking about on
Our
the Fias
firework.
episode,
Yes,
right?
the Petardo store, the little newsstand that sells the fireworks from Fias. Yes.
Which I
And
love. So, yeah. So I was like, do you want me, should we go in there and talk to the lady? Because you don't have any, my Spanish is not great, but I can sort of have a bit of a conversation.
your Spanish is way better than mine, and I was humbled by you,
That's very,
because
very
the only
nice
way
of you to
I've
say.
talked to that woman is through sign language, and
Right. She was delightful. Can I just say, what a lovely lady. And she wasn't the one that threw the point of the fireworks at the building, right? It was her friend,
no,
I
she was
think.
the one that did that. It was
Okay.
her. It was her friend who laughed at me
Oh, it was a friend
because
that
I
laughed at you.
thought I set a building on fire, and she was like, "No, that doesn't happen." And then she came out. She's like, "Let me show you. This is what we do." And then she points
Yeah,
the
so this is
Roman
like a
candle.
little corner shop, I would say, for use of a better word, and it's
Yeah.
just those couple of ladies, and what a great personality too. So that was quite a joy. So I was like, we have this podcast. If you know anyone that speaks English,
Yes.
like maybe you want them, maybe they want to listen to the
Well, I
story
heard her
that you
say
told.
laundress. Didn't she say she had someone in London that could listen
Her
to us?
her friend, the other lady that laughed at
Okay.
you, her child, I guess, lives in London, so they have some English somewhere in the family that someone can listen to your story, which I think they'll get a kick out of your story about the fireworks, because it's sort of, it was the other side of from their point of view,
Right.
right?
Maybe they had told me, you're not going to believe this idiot that was in here.
Right. So we ended up having a really fun time, and I think that's one of those things that like you were saying earlier, it does put a smile on your face when you just are most of us have come here for a more relaxed, more zen, like you said, sort of lifestyle. So you really have to let go of this instant way that everything can be done at all hours of the day in America, for sure, a little
Right.
bit in England as well, like that, not as much as America. And it's like, if you roll with it, you sometimes, often, you find other things to do, because we would never have ended up in either of those places,
Right. Well,
right?
and I would say what put the smile on my face about that interaction is we were sitting down and the woman walked by and I was like, "That's the woman." You're like, "Oh, should I talk to her?" But if I mean, I don't know about you, but my experience here in the city is I feel like it's a little bit like Sesame Street. Like I walk down the street and there's that woman who, I mean, I've only had interactions with her during Fias. I mean, but I
Mm-hmm.
walk by and I can't show away. But it's she remembers me. She
Mm-hmm.
waves. She says hello this morning. I was walking from the bus stop to go to the gym because I'm going to be fit. I keep telling myself this. And so on my way to the gym, there's a woman sitting at a different cafe, and it's the woman who owns the little wine liquor store that I've been into maybe 3 times since we've lived here for almost
Mm-hmm.
2 years now. And she looked up at me and she waved and said, "Hi, how are you?" In Spanish, and I was responding in my brilliant perfected Spanish. The four phrases I know really well. And so
Your Spanish is better than you're saying.
no, it is. I understand more,
Yeah.
but it made me like, and it put a little kick to my step as we had our
Mm-hmm.
little interaction. I'm like, this is a woman who doesn't know me. I've been in the shop 3 times, and she
And she
took,
was very happy to see you.
yeah, and she
Yeah.
took her time to say hi, how are
Yeah.
you? And while she was having breakfast with someone else, it was just
Mm-hmm.
it was such a nice little interaction, and
It's really nice, and especially when you don't. Just to touch on the Spanish a bit. I mean, thank you for what you say about my Spanish, but I am not nowhere near where I was hoping I would be after 5 years. I'm going to be honest, and that's frustrating. Wherever you think you want to be, it's just for me anyway, and I think for a lot of people, it's infinitely harder than you think to actually. They're like, just go to Spain or go to wherever, and you'll just learn the language, and it's
mm-hmm,
like it's actually not that easy because there are so many other people here that speak English. Having English as your first language is a bit of a detriment, unfortunately, because people will start speaking to you in English if they can.
and they will, and also it
Yeah.
doesn't help us that we have families that speak English. So it's not like we're
Right.
like we've moved here and we're 22 and we live with the 3 other Spanish roommates and it's
Right.
sink
That
or
would be
swim.
ideal. Right.
Yeah, that would be that.
So in yeah, so on top of the that feeling that of community that you were talking about, I think it's really nice, I think, to realize that you can still have that even if your Spanish hasn't reached the level that you want, you know? And
Right.
I have that we live in an urbanization, and so I see a lot of people in the urbanization. I'm friends with some of them, but I also see a lot of other people. So it is kind of like, hey, how's it going? What's going
Mm-hmm.
on? And then something, small talk, and then you all move on.
Right.
And I think you can have that in the city, and you can have that outside of the city as well,
It,
anywhere.
and it makes you feel less alone. I mean, I moved here with just
For
my kids.
sure.
We have no friends or family here. I mean, we didn't move here with friends or family. I mean, we
Same.
were,
Yeah, same.
and so when you have these moments in a different culture that is completely other world than what we're
Mm-hmm.
used to, right? It's like, okay, if I move from California to Nevada or Arizona, I speak the language, it would be easier. So it is when you have those moments of like, what did I do? I mean, I don't know if you have those after 5 years. And not a regret, but just wake up of like, whoa, my life is different. Then someone's like, hi, how are you? And you're like, oh, I,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is. It makes you feel like you've created a home, I think,
mm-hmm,
and I think it's kind of we've talked about this before. We don't bump into people that often because we're in the car a lot. But when you do bump into somebody or you realize how many people you know, you're like, oh, but it really does happen quicker than you think, and
mm-hmm.
to kind of that community feeling definitely you can have anywhere if you're just outgoing enough to at least connect with people and say hi, and if the Spanish people are super friendly
Right.
as well, I will
They
say.
really are. And you don't feel that it's because I want your business again. Like they're just
Right.
generally like to see you and they're like, hi, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. So other things that put a smile on our face, oh my god, yesterday, so it's Zena's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
so finding gifts, blah blah blah, finding the right wrapping paper, doing all these things, making I mean, it's probably the difference between girls and boys. I don't know, but everything's got to be a certain way. But I went to I don't know if you have in the city because obviously there's a lot of things you can buy in El Corte and these sort of things, but we out here we have several toy stores, like that's all they sell. It's just
Mm-hmm.
toys and games and all that kind of stuff. So I went in
We
there.
do have those here. We have these like old school. I feel like it's 1950,
Right, it's what
like
it feels like.
like
Yeah.
Main Street USA, and there's like a guy that's like, I sell model trains, and you're like, how we stopped that in America years ago,
We
right?
have a Toys R Us as well. I don't know if you have one
Oh,
in the
I did
city.
see. Yeah, the up in Burhasot there is one by
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hospital.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Not in the city. I haven't seen. I think that's a suburb thing, but I could be wrong.
yeah. Well, that was a surprise because I thought they went out of business. But
Right.
anyway, we have that. But I went into the toy shop and I bought something, and then when I came out, I just was because it had been a while since I'd actually been in a toy shop because Zena's getting now she's 13. It's like you kind of get out of that age
Mm-hmm.
sort of toy shop stuff. So we haven't been there for like gifts and birthday parties and stuff. They have wrapping stations, free wrapping stations, And I was like, oh my God, I love this.
That was to me the biggest. They have those in the city too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Chinese store that has them, and I was like, what free? Like I can, and it's the Chinese store, so it's not like I'm coming like that's like the 99-cent store,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, but I mean they have obviously nice things there that you could buy as gifts and wrap. But I was like, what a it. I agree.
Right?
It's a novel
It
concept.
was amazing. And not only that, there's wrapping paper, there's tape, there's scissors, there's
Scissors.
things, and it's stocked and it's clean and it's ready to be used and it's huge. So you can, I mean, I bought just like a pack of Uno cards because that was
Hmm.
what I was looking for because we kind of collect Uno, different variable of Uno things. So that was like one of these just little gifts. So all I needed was a tiny weeny piece of paper, and they have different sizes. So they have like a small roll of paper and a big roll of paper. So depending on the size of your gift, like it was so
That's
organized.
more advanced than my little store
Right?
in the corner.
So I was like, this is amazing. And I just love that kind of thing where it's just people, it can be there because people respect it and they use it for what it is. No one's going in there and just stealing a whole roll of
Right.
paper or like leaving it in a mess so that the next person can't use it. I mean, it's just very respectful and useful.
You know, it's a funny thing that makes me laugh and it makes me scratch my head too, is because like El Court gives you free gift wrapping.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't know if you knew that, but if you're
No.
like, I want a gift wrap, and sometimes it will just be like a nice gift bag and tied up nicely with a ribbon, right? Like, so that's
But that's worth
but
something because
but
gift
that's
bags
awesome.
in England are
But
like
they will
£5.
exactly right. So and it's usually like branded or whatever. But
Yeah.
like it'll be the brand of whatever thing. Like if you bought a
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Lauren shirt, it would be a Ralph
Yeah.
Lauren bag,
Well,
but with a ribbon on it, or whatever. Or they'll wrap it in Elcourt paper, and that's all free. But if you
mm-hmm.
want a shopping bag to take that home, they're going to charge you.
You're gonna charge you a
So I'm
lot.
walking around the street because I'm cheap and I will not spend 15 cents on a
You
shopping
just
bag.
bought yourself a bunch of presents,
Yeah.
basically. Yes, it's all presents.
It's all presents. Can you put it in one of those gift bags though? No, I don't need it wrapped. Could you have the
That's actually a really good hack. I'm not gonna. That's a really good
Oh,
one. I
I hope
love
I'm
it.
not ruining it for the rest of us now.
You might be. And now they're gonna start charging for gift wrapping because you said this. Oh my gosh. No, I like that idea though because really sometimes you just want it wrapped and you just need it done like right
Right.
away. So I love that happens. And so speaking of birthday parties and things that make you smile, I don't know. Oh my god, I have so many birthday party
So
things. So
they do birthdays different here, and
they do. Oh,
it was it's
an adjustment. Can I
an
say it's an
adjustment.
adjustment?
But you go on, tell you moved here first, so you tell us your experience.
Well, you've probably had experience with this one, maybe not my second story. So let's start with the first one, which is something that I had a hard time coming to terms with. And I had to ask a few people when it first happened to me because I thought it was like, is this person just trying to get money or what? Like, what's going on? Because I didn't know the situation. It's very common here for them to just say, everyone just going to give €10 and then the parents are going to buy like this big thing that the kid wants or something like that so the kid gets like I don't know what it is, a hoverboard or something instead of a
Right,
whole bunch of little journals, right?
right,
So this type of thing. And the first time it was like I got an invitation to a birthday party through WhatsApp and it said, here's bizum us the €10 if you want. And I was like, but I like to go and find a gift and put my personality into it and think
right,
about the person. And then I was like, I don't need to do that for my daughter's friends. Like, if that's not what they want, why do
right.
I need to spend an afternoon shopping? I'm not really a big shopper.
Well, I mean, I will to be honest, back in the States, I had a Connect Four that I know has been regifted to like five different friends and it just
Oh,
keeps going around.
that's
And I was
great.
like, we're like, take off last year's paper and give it to someone else because you're gonna get it next year's birthday back anyway. Like there's
I
this
love that.
it was, and other mom friends and dad
Mm-hmm.
friends, they tell the same thing like, oh no, I have a gift closet from stuff my kids don't want, and then I just regift that to another person. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really less, and um, it did seem strange to me when you told me about this. I have not yet had the luxury of being able to just send €10 to someone.
It's
We,
so great. Just it's
it
so great. And
sounds
this
so
maybe this
awesome.
this might happen when the kids are younger, so it may never happen to you. It
It
may
may
be
never.
something that happens when they're younger.
I think
Yeah.
so, because now it's like the girls are giving lists to their friends and it's only like four friends and it's now handling between them. Like it's
Right.
not I'm not involved.
That's a good
But
point. It's less people. I mean, now it's like, look, just go to normal, like we did. For
mm,
Zena's birthday, we went around normal, picked up everything that was
I had my
pink, and
basket.
that
I
was
was like, "Are you
it.
gonna buy this? Fine, I'll get it for your daughter. I'll get this for your daughter. Am I done here?"
Yeah, that's it. But it is nice. But you're right. It might be for something for younger kids because we I haven't come across that in a little bit now because now she wants everything. Just it's easy. Face creams,
Right.
body creams, lip glosses, like anything. And if it's pink, bonus. Or if it looks like a marshmallow, bonus. You know.
Right. Well, I mean, I think the beauty of the gifting after I got rid of 95% of our belongings to move here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
all that junk and consumption and all of that. I mean, most people are living in smaller apartments here. Who wants 33 gifts that the kids aren't going to play with that you have to like when you can just it's just a there's so much waste
So
that's been
true.
is resolved with this and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
what a gosh I wish I would have I wish that was a thing because of all the birthday parties I threw it would have been nice to have had $200 in cash to buy them a thing
Right.
versus I mean, how many arts and crafts gifts I just tossed that never got opened, right? Because you don't have the time to do
Right.
all the arts and crafts and when they've got all these other activities and all that stuff.
That's
So
true. That's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah.
kudos Spain. I'm giving you a shout out. I don't know if other countries do that, but I think it should be a worldwide thing. It's awesome.
I think so. I've never come across it, and I think it's amazing. And it was funny how of a big of a question I had too. Like
Right.
that was surprising to me. I didn't really get it, not having done it, and then now that I get it, I'm like brilliant.
Right, right. I mean, that is that's the thing about living in a foreign country, right? Is you have to
Hmm.
embrace things that are just not done the way that you're used to them being done, and that embrace that are other ways they can get done, and sometimes brilliantly well. Just because you're not
Yeah,
used to it doesn't mean it's wrong.
absolutely. Yeah, if you give it time to think about it and go through with it and see how people are doing things, you're like, yeah, that's great. Like why not?
And not to say that everything goes smoothly here, because there's a lot of things that will shake your head at, but you know it really isn't right when the Spaniards agree with you that no, that shouldn't be done that way. But it is
That's
how we
what
do it, and we're not changing
totally.
it.
It doesn't make any sense, but we're gonna keep doing it anyway. Well, the other one for me, and I think this is something that is a bit more for younger kids. So again, you may not have experienced this one, and we were a couple of years in, and in we because of COVID, we didn't have any birthday parties and stuff. So we were already like 2 years in before sort of we started doing proper birthday parties again,
Hmm.
and we obviously hadn't quite assimilated either because we were just doing our own American thing at home where we were locked down. So it was like it took us a little longer to kind of find things and realize how things were going. And I
Right.
dropped Zena off at a birthday party at a friend's house and at like I don't know 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something, and then we're like, yeah, we'll just we're just gonna go. We'll text you later when it's over or whatever. And I'm like, fine, I'll be around anyway. I didn't pick her up until 11:30 at night,
Okay.
which perfectly
What?
normal apparently. But that wasn't even the weird thing because I was kind of expecting that because they had a pool party and then they watched a movie and
Okay.
whatever. But the funny part of it was that it was 11:30 at night and they hadn't had dinner.
No,
And I'm
that's even
like,
late for Spain. That's even late for Spain. Because the
yes.
restaurants are closing at that time, right? Like
That,
there's
I mean, I was just like, so now at 11:30, I'm trying to find Xena food, and I'm like, this isn't how we roll. I don't have anything. So I was like, always have something on hand, right? Like,
I
always
mean,
have something quick on hand.
there isn't 24-hour here. I don't know if there's 24-hour in Madrid or Barcelona. I mean, there's like the Carrefour Express, I think will stay open until 1, but like that's just a convenience store, right? Like
Right,
in the
right.
state, I mean, I don't know about Virginia, but in LA, I mean, grocery there's at least a few that are open 24 hours and they're all
Yeah,
open until like 2 o'clock in the morning and fast food is open late. Like everything's
yeah.
open
You
late.
don't always want to
Which
be in those places
right,
at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna say, but they
but
are there.
they are there. But I mean, it's funny for a place that thrives on being up late. Not a lot's
Hmm.
open late. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, there's not much open late. But that was just kind of a funny thing. So it's like just be prepared because you will sometimes be sort of forced into even if you're not doing it at home, you will be forced into that like late lifestyle,
Right.
by things like this. And she had a good time and it was all good, but it was like,
But she
okay,
was chewing the seatbelt as you were driving.
yeah, it is possible. now that I think about it, that she was offered food that she didn't want to eat. That is probably more
Ah,
likely the scenario because she's such a picky eater. But it's also possible that everyone was just going to go home and eat at that hour because they would have.
right. Or she was offered croquetas and
Oh, right.
and
That's also a thing.
oven baked French fries, and she was not
Yeah.
having any of that.
This was quite early on, so she hadn't quite acclimatized to paella and the basics and the
Hmm.
patatas bravas and stuff yet. So I think it's possible. But it was funny. It was kind of a Spain moment for us that you just have to be like, this is funny.
Right. Yeah.
It's just funny. And I think that there's a lot of little things like that will kind of put a smile on your face, I think.
For
For
for sure. I mean,
yeah.
we had eaten at this one restaurant that we love, but we don't eat out that often. And we had moved here, and it was our first week or two that we moved here, and the kids are walking around, and it was, again, it was 173 degrees, and there was this
Mhm.
place, um, and it's a Peruvian restaurant around the corner, and the food was amazing, but we went there, and couple months later it was my birthday, and I was like, why don't we go back to that place for my birthday dinner? So I put a reservation, only ate there once for lunch months before,
Mhm.
and we get there, and the woman who is a husband and wife own this restaurant, and um she's like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And I was like, "How does she remember me?" And she's like, "I saw your name on the reservation list, and my husband
Oh,
doesn't speak any because they're from Peru, but I think she had lived in
right.
the States. And anyway, her English is great." And she was like, "So I wasn't supposed to work tonight, but I saw your name on the reservation, so I wanted to make sure that you had a good day." And she didn't know it was my birthday. I was like, "It's my birthday." She's like, "Well, it's even better that I showed up." And I'm like, "I don't know."
That's so sweet.
It's so sweet. In restaurants that we've been to once, we go back months later, they're so genuinely happy to see you, and it's not like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like some recognizable. We are not celebrities yet. Hopefully,
Oh gosh.
they'll be throwing the doors open for us, or
Oh
locking
my
them, or
goodness, don't
locking them
start.
before we get there. But
Yeah, I think the latter. That's really nice though. I mean, that's just and then to put the thought into it, right? That when she saw your name, that's really really nice.
it was, and it really made my birthday. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right, absolutely. So we had a funny experience. One of the things I do love that makes me happy because we have a dog is they're very pet friendly here.
Hmm.
As far as like you can walk into most stores with your dog, even my giant dog that's
Your
more like a
giant
small
German
horse.
Shepherd can go into
Yeah,
like in the city into stores and stuff.
I've been. I haven't done a lot of shopping in the city, but I don't think they would care. I mean,
Okay,
they. I mean, you can't go into the grocery stores, obviously, but nobody really seems to care. And then the other thing is they have dog beaches, which are just for the dogs. But then
okay,
during the winter, from roughly October to May,
okay.
all the beaches you can take your dog to anywhere. So
Gotcha.
I can
Can they
drive to
be
any
off
beach.
leash?
Well, I mean, theoretically, I mean, yes, you can, and they can be off leash at the dog beach. But if you go to like when I go to the beach near us, like Puthol or El Puch Beach, like here, there aren't a lot of people there in the winter, so it's
Hmm.
really nice, and you just let the dog go. I did have an experience once, so you have to be careful. So we went to a dog beach in Port Supplier, right there, where that
Hmm.
big sort of little Venice is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it feels like something that should be in Vegas. Yeah.
Right, I know, but it's so pretty. I love
It
that
is. Yeah.
area. It's this little, and that did put a smile on my face. It's this little. They have like a Leroy Merlin and some shops and Alcampo and stuff there. But then next to it is all these sort of townhomes and apartment
Apartments.
building complexes. They're
It's a
all,
master plan community that looks like
yeah,
Venice. It's trying to do this like replication of Venice, but with high rises. But they're all
but they're all
stuccoed and
pretty.
colored and bright color. Oh,
Yeah,
it's a great little area to stroll around. There's a bunch of
yeah.
cute little restaurants and
And you can,
shops.
and they've got the water goes through in
The
between
little
all the buildings, and you've
mhm,
got little boats. You could have your apartment and your townhome and your boat. I mean,
right.
it's really cute.
It's a
They
little
have
marina, but like
little
it winds
marina, little
through.
tiny
Yeah.
marina. It's really cute. And then, but they have a dog beach down there. So I went down there once with Blaze. I haven't gone back since because of this. And it was, anyway, so we went down there, we go to the dog beach, and we had, when we were walking from the parking lot to the beach, there's a promenade there.
Mm-hmm.
There was somebody on the promenade, and at this point Blaze had her leash on. We walked through the promenade, like a little, like, I don't know, several like benches away was somebody with a rabbit, a pet rabbit.
Okay.
Right? Overlooking
I
the
want to
dog
know where
beach.
this is going. I'm scared.
I was very scared. So, but we walked. I'm like, maybe she didn't see it. We go down to the dog beach, right, which was just right there. I let her off the leash. She had seen the rabbit.
No.
She goes charging back off the beach, back up to the promenade, runs through people who probably think she's going to eat them, right? Because they don't know. She's this giant dog just running. She's like, I saw that rabbit. I smelt that rabbit. I'm going for that rabbit. And I'm like, there's no way I can stop this. So I'm running after her. I'm screaming her name, right? So the whole scenario just looks terrifying.
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
my heart was like pounding. And I'm like, oh, I knew she was going for the rabbit, right?
Right, yeah, yeah.
And she just but all these people are just like, what's going on? Like, I'm screaming, the dog's running, that's it. And she gets to where the rabbit, and literally within like nanoseconds, they had managed to take the rabbit off the floor and put it back in this pet carrier that they had. Thank God. But I was thinking at the same time, is she going to eat the people looking for the rabbit? Like, she's the friendliest dog. Like, she loves people.
German Shepherds are scary. I mean,
they're scary, right? Yeah. Because they look like they're going to eat you, and
they're
used
not
to
well
seeing them.
portrayed in the movies. You know?
They are not well portrayed in the movies. You do, and people that don't know German Shepherds will think that, right? And I was like, oh my God, I was so close. That she was so close to a really, really good lunch.
So is the reason why you haven't been banned back is because you've actually been banned? Is
Oh.
that I remember the last time I was in Port Supply, there were sketchings. I didn't pay attention to the side.
Of a German Shepherd or me.
Or yeah, I mean, maybe it was you. A police sketch of someone. If you've seen this woman.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I will say, in all fairness to me and to Blaze, what the hell are you doing with a pet rabbit at a dog beach? I wanted to go take the rabbit and say, you are not responsible parents. You are not responsible parents. And I know someone that could use a rabbit. Got to give it to the right person in Spain, though, because you don't want them putting it in a paella.
Oh my God, which is delicious, though.
It is really good. I've heard too many stories of adults and Spanish adults that's like, yeah, when I was a kid, like, grandma cooked our rabbit. And I'm thinking, that's very traumatic. But was the rabbit in your house probably because it was going to get cooked, not because it was supposed to be a pet? Yeah, so that was the wrong. If you have rabbits, don't take them down to the dog beach. That was very stressful.
I wouldn't even think of that for sure.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. And then our friends were meeting us with their dog, and by that point I had Blaze on a leach, and I was like, I can't let her off again. Like,
you
I'm
must
just
have been
too
so
stressed.
flustered.
I was so flustered. Doesn't even describe how I was. I haven't been back there, just in case that's a frequent thing that they do. But yeah, that was super fun. But on the happy side, the dog beaches are great. They got lots of places for dogs to go, and during the winter, which I love, when there's not anybody on the beach, you can take your dog to anywhere. And I love that they open it for that. I think that's really, really, really cool. And I think they wouldn't have to, you know.
Right.
But they do a good job with that. So that's one of my things that I love.
Well, speaking of beach, my goal next week is to go to the beach because my children never want to go. So while they're still in school, my goal, hopefully, if there's an 80-degree day next week, I'm gonna go to the beach and have an alone day and enjoy. And I'll look out for you and your German Shepherd.
There you go. Well, I will say, if you're gonna do that, check the because since you're in the city. It happens to us here too, and we're up in the mountains and we get quite a bit of wind. And usually I know whether it's going to be windy at the beach because it would be quite windy up here. But I've had a couple of times where I should have checked the wind on the weather app and seen how the wind is realistically at one of the cities at the beach, because if it's not relaxing at all if you go down there and it's crazy windy, because that happened to us like a week ago.
Right.
I was like, let's take Blaze down and walk. And we were just like so blown away there, and it was and the sea was rough and everything.
I mean, well, where we are, if it's windy at the beach, it'd be windy here because we're not that far. I mean, we're like walking distance to the beach. I mean, it's a long walk, but you can walk it, you know.
Yeah.
And Valencia, I mean, for people to know, Valencia is a windy city. It is a very windy city.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've had moments there where and also up in Sagunto, like where where our Spanish class was, like it would be nice up here, and I would get down there where and you would just get blown across the street.
Right,
Like
right.
it was crazy. So it'll be windy in a pocket and not windy somewhere else too.
Right.
So yeah, that's the apps are good because they will mention.
Do you
that
have a
on
good
it.
weather app? Because I'm just gonna say, I do not smile at the weather app that is proprietary to my phone.
I use AccuWeather. I think that's probably the most accurate
It's
weather. But in
because
reality,
it'll
it
tell me
is.
it's not raining, and I'm like, it's literally pouring
Oh,
right now.
for sure. No.
Like literally, we have a thunderstorm. There's a
Yeah.
30% chance of rain. It's 100% raining.
If you just looked outside.
Yeah.
But they probably don't have people everywhere. I find AccuWeather to be the best.
Okay.
It gives me the best actual results. And when it starts, even if it says it's not going to rain, and then it starts raining, it tends to change and go, oh, it's raining now. So it has
Yeah,
something going
I'm
on.
sorry, I'm calling them out. Apple doesn't say that.
No.
The Apple weather app does not change it. Oh, it's rain. No, it's literally like thundering lightning and.
Yeah, and I don't know where they might be getting their information from AccuWeather. I don't know, but it's been definitely more realistic. And then there's also, and I can't remember the name of it, but there's also a surf app as well. If you want to know the
Because
state
all that
of the
surfing
water.
I do.
Not you. But I have a paddleboard, which I love, but I haven't used very much. And part of the issue with that is if you actually want to be able to stand up on it, you really need to go when the water is flat as a pancake.
And well, I have to say, since we've not been to the beach a million times, but we go, right? And I've never seen like waves. It always seems like glass. There's rolls, but like not California waves. I'm not seeing
No,
I mean,
no.
I grew up in New Jersey and lived in California, so I'm used to waves that people can surf on. People be, oh, it was very
Yeah.
wavy. I'm like, no. I mean,
But it
you know,
might be our level of surfing kind of waves.
well, I have no level of surfing.
Exactly.
So,
No, I would say that you're not going to get waves, but if you want to paddleboard and stand up, I think unless you're really good at it, for me it's been quite hard to do. Like you need it really flat, and I think there are people, and there are for kids as well. There's like summer camps and things where they actually do surfing on the days where they have a little bit of wave because they just want a little bit. They don't
Right.
want to
They
be
don't want-
learning in LA waves. That's no one's dream.
no, not at all.
Yeah. So I think the beach and having the summer camps are awesome as well. And I think there's things you can do for kids as well. So
Right.
I think the amount of waves would not be good for somebody that actually wanted to surf. They do they do kite surfing.
Yeah,
That's what
they
I've
do
seen
that.
down
Yeah,
there.
they do the
Yeah.
well. They've got the wind for it. You've got the
They
wind.
have the wind for
the
it,
wind
yep.
to get up in the air for sure.
Yes, very popular here.
Very
Yes.
popular here.
Looks terrifying, and I will never
would
try
not.
it.
I would not do that. And I don't know about the beaches up there, but the city beaches, the shelf is very flat, so you're not gonna get waves because you can walk out 100 meters and you're still like at maybe knee depth, right? It takes a long while because like in the summer here, the water's so hot it's not refreshing. Like you boil and then you have to walk so far out to finally get the cool. I think we've talked about that
that'll
before.
vary. That'll vary from beach to beach. Yeah, so like some of the beaches we go to, they like it goes down normally and then it goes up again, and you have a shelf and then it goes down again, or you have to go further out. Yeah, so that varies from beach to beach a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But you will have a lovely time at the beach, and that is
The
definitely
beaches
something
I love the beach, so
that'll
I
make you smile. For
I
sure.
wish my kids loved the beach, but I love the beach. They never. Well, their kids they don't want to do anything. They don't want to go anywhere. The teenager years. It's the
Maybe you gotta take a
and definitely
friend
not
with
be
you.
seen with me. Well, that's
No.
what I need. Well, that's my plan this summer. I'm gonna hang out with friends, and you guys can stay at home alone. It's fine. I'm gonna keep my
girls.
Spanish smile going this summer.
Right. Regardless of the fact that the kids are home. Well, what I do is we go, but it's different when you have one kid, I think. So we go and we meet a friend of hers and their family at the beach, and we go, but it's a bit more accessible for us, I think, where we are. So we'll
Right.
just go down and we'll, everyone, and then I'll hang out with the parents, and the girls will go splash around and do their thing or take the paddleboard or whatever, and that's very doable.
My oldest has done that with her friends, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
invited. Like the friends aren't. Now they're at the age
Oh.
where the parents are dropping them off, and
Okay. Wow.
or will they meet there, or it's places that because we don't have a car, then someone picks them up, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna drive north for the day to hang out with a bunch of teenage kids.
No.
Good. I'll stay home. I'll
Yeah.
stay
Well, it
home
does
and
change.
walk around my little Sesame Street neighborhood and have the fruit
Mm-hmm.
guy wave to me and the barber wave to me. I don't go to the barber because I'm bald, but my
I was gonna say.
hey now I've got one hair. I wrap
Oh
it
yeah,
around
somewhere around
somewhere
there.
there.
Well, definitely a good idea to go to the beach while the girls are still in school, for
Yeah,
sure.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And it doesn't I actually love the beach. I prefer the beach actually at this time of year and during the winter when it's a nice day because it's not very packed and it's
Yeah, I
really
mean, I
really
prefer it
nice.
not to be crowded and prefer it to,
Yeah.
but I would like the beach put. Can I stutter more? The beach puts a smile on my face, but even down there where we never go, there's a place that we go and get paella, and every time we go, and it might be many many months, they're like, "Welcome back," and you're like, you see thousands of people. Like this is like, and they could be lying. Maybe they're just lying. They just tell that to everyone, but it does makes me happy. It
It
makes
makes you
me,
happy even if
yeah,
they're lying. So
even
it's
if they're
working.
lying. Yeah, it's working. So
Yeah, and the beach is nice down. You have a very nice wide beach down there, but also a promenade, and like we've gone down there and just ridden our bikes around and stuff as well.
and
So
then, and then
there's a
and
lot
it
to
breaks
do.
up in sections. So there's like a little
Yeah.
area where there's shops and restaurants, and then it's just housing, and then there's another area with
Mm-hmm.
shops. Like it's like neighborhoods at the beach. It's not just some long strand
Right.
of stuff, right? Of the same,
Mm-hmm.
And what I will say is um, it's not filled with any kind of tacky t-shirt shops, which I love. It's kind of very
No, it has all
it's
the normal shops, which is weird, right?
right. It has like
Yeah.
yeah, it's got like an alley hop, and it's got
Mm-hmm.
cafes, but it's not like just junk. It's got like things you might need for the beach, but it's not like a Venice beach where it's just
No.
like
Yeah.
Venice in California, just nonstop, just tacky t-shirt shops
Mm-hmm.
and $2 sunglasses and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, very different. Like in Sagunto, for instance, they'll have, I think maybe on Saturdays, I'm not sure how many days they do it. So we have like, there's a nice beach there. Then there's like a promenade for walking. And on that promenade, they'll have sometimes like a temporary market type thing where they have like little tents put up and then it is like craftsy and knick-knacky
Is
things
that
and
the
stuff like
markets that
that.
like go every like it's just in a different place
Probably.
every day? If that it's
Yeah.
the roving market, and it'll have like
Yeah, and I think that gives a little bit of extra shopping there that maybe you wouldn't get otherwise, which I think
right,
is nicely organized. They have a really good farmers market in Sagunto, but it's further in because Sagunto's kind of like you got the beach side, and then there's a bit of commercial in the middle, and then by the mountains you have the old part of Sagunto. So it's quite a big sort of area with different sort of elements to it.
I've noticed that a lot in Spain. I mean, maybe not all of Spain, but definitely in the Valencian region. You see a city, and they're like, "Oh, but the city's nowhere near the beach." But then it has a Playa de City, right? Like, so it's like
Right?
Sagunto and Playa de Sagunto, and then there's
Yeah.
Albaraya. It's Albaraya de the Playa de Albaraya, right? So it's like there's the city, and then there's a beach city, and
It's
they
interesting how
aren't
they do that.
connected. There could be orange groves and fields and or
Yep.
industrial parks. Like it's not walking from one to the other.
Yeah, so I'm sort of, I mean, we lived in El Puig for a while and I loved that and it had exactly like that. And it was quite hard to go from the town to the beach, which I thought was a bummer because you could walk through the orange fields, but it was quite a maneuver and you really had to know what you were doing.
Right.
Puthol, which has the same situation like you just said, where you have the town and then the beach part separated by the autovia and stuff.
Right.
I mean, they actually have a walking path down the road, so you can, if you want to walk that far, walk on a
Or
nice
bike.
on or bike on a nice path that's separated from the road but next to the road with sort of bushes and stuff, so it's not
Right.
it's a really nice little place. I've even seen people riding their horses down there, so probably you can do if you have a horse you
Right,
can
right.
also go down there.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
is
not going to get a car, but I'm going to buy a horse. That's the
totally.
plan.
I think a lot of people have that feeling. So you joke, but people do it anyway. So yeah, I've seen that's really nice in that area, and I was like, that's a nice thing to have, like you said. If the beach is a bit further away, it is nice if you can ride a bike down there or something
Right.
properly.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
And it's also relatively flat there, so it'd be a nice little trip. You got to cart all your things to the beach. That's I don't know how you all do it when like you have to get on a bus with all the things you want
Well,
there.
it's
I put
getting.
everything in the car, and I'm like, I'm not carrying this from the
What are you
car to the
taking to the
beach.
beach? What are you taking to the beach, though?
I need everything. Have
Are
you
you?
seen what people do here? It's crazy. They bring like the tent, and then they bring like tables and chairs, and they're playing like
Yeah,
chess
I'm
on the
not
beach,
doing
and
that.
they're bringing lunch.
If it doesn't fit in one backpack, it ain't going. So, and my kids are older, so no longer do I have to bring the sand toys and all the stuff to keep
That's
and all
true.
the foods and all the things like it's a couple bottles of frozen water, maybe a bag of grapes and three towels and a sheet, and that's all we're taking.
Mm,
And that was when they were younger. It stopped me from wanting to go to the beach because it was such a hassle with kids. You got to bring so
right.
much to keep them entertained.
Yeah. But also in
You're
the summer it's very hot, so you really do need to bring an umbrella, which you're not going to bring. So you really
no,
your
we
time
don't
is
do that.
limited on the
We don't.
beach, I think. But that limits your time because
Oh, we're
it's gonna be
olive-skinned
hot.
people. We're fine.
Well, definitely the beach is something that makes us smile, I guess. When we go, not as often as we thought we would go, to be honest, but
I thought
it's
I'd be a
nice.
beach bunny, but I really haven't been a beach bunny since before I had kids. Because before I had kids and living in California, I went to the beach all the time.
Hmm.
And then since kids, I don't go. And I thought, oh, we'll be here. But it's not convenient for me in this. It is a half hour, 45-minute bus ride. So
Right.
it is a commitment of the day versus like if we lived down
Hmm.
there, I'd probably go all the time if we were closer. But like it's really an hour for me to get there. Apart from my bed, I decide to leave the house by the time I'm finally on the sand
Hmm.
and relaxed. And then 2 hours there, and then another hour. That's the day, which I'm gonna plan next week. I'm gonna take the day.
We'll check
So,
in on that.
and I just see get that smile on my face.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, and I will say another thing that does put a smile on my face, even though it's one of those things that maybe didn't at the very, very beginning, is the siesta time.
Right. I mean,
Now that, yeah, I'm loving it now.
I'm too. I think I'm it took me a while. It was frustrating at first. I agree, but like the Spanish lifestyle, I mean, it makes me happy. I know um when things are closed, I'm relaxed for it and I'm there for it. I know when to eat,
Yeah.
right?
There's something about the mental side of knowing that something can be done at any time of day that is kind of it sort of just keeps your in a negative way it keeps your
Yeah,
stress going because it's like if I need to do something, oh, I can go to Target or somewhere and get it done at any time of day, so why aren't I doing it? Oh, guess I better go do it. What if there's a whole time of the day and things where things can't get done? It's like, well, I can't do that now, so
it forces you to get things it forces you to be more efficient, right? Because if things
that's
are open
true.
you can procrastinate, but then you're also overwhelmed thinking, well, since everything's open I can get all these things done, and you almost like create more things to do. And here you're like, well,
Right.
I can't do anything for those 3 hours, so I'm going to,
Just not.
perfect time for me to journal, or maybe I'll do my crossword puzzle now because I can't do anything else.
Have you
And
been journaling?
I have been
You
journaling.
have? Oh,
I
good for
have.
you.
I have.
Oh, that's nice.
I will say I have started that in the last 5 months, 6 months, I want to say.
Okay.
Something I used to do a lot, and then I stopped when I had kids, and
Again,
so
yeah.
I'm like, what can I do? As I'm just to clear my head in the morning. I'm trying to zen my life out. So, even more
Well,
so,
you're in the right place for it.
I am. Yeah, I
Well, I
think
hope that
so.
helps. Hope it helps for sure.
So if anyone has any things that make you happy from Spain, please let us know. I mean, I'm sure we'll be touching on this subject many, many
A
more
lot.
times.
We didn't even talk about the food, did we, really?
No. How that puts a
and
smile on our face?
I'm going to say what it does with me. There was a lot
Well,
of good food here. And I will say, it's one of the things that we moved for was a better source of food, and that's
hmm
definitely the quality of food here is better. So when you're buying things, I do love that aspect of things, not only just the food that's available.
no,
It's
it's
different.
healthier, and I will say, to kind of round up the smile on our face,
Hmm.
and that is that it took me. a while, and I think I've brought this up before, getting used to just buying stuff that you're going to use now because they don't have the preservatives in it. And it
Yeah.
was frustrating. Like I'd opened up a thing of uh uh
Mayonnaise, maybe.
something. Yeah, it was the mayonnaise. I mean, who knows? There's been a few things actually, and I opened it up and I was
Right.
like, "How's this?" And when I brought this up before, I'm sure it's like it's spoiled and rotten already, and this is supposed to last forever. And you throw it away, and now I'm just like, okay, well, I got to remember that. But the happiness is I'm not eating all this stuff created by a company with
Right, with all the preservatives and additives and all
questionable
the
scruples.
things. Yes,
That was
yes,
the word I was looking for.
that was the word you're looking for. So, all, yeah, but all the things. I mean, that's one of the things that constantly makes me happy is that I think we have a much better source of food here, and I think
Yes.
that no matter what, no matter you're buying for yourself, it's not as hard to find good stuff. Like you really had to dig around. We had some good grocery stores that were very wholesome where we lived, but here you don't have to dig for that as much,
And you
and
don't
I
have to
think
pay
that's
for it.
easier. And you're not paying as much for it either. It was
I
very
mean,
much a luxury there.
yeah,
Yeah.
very much a luxury, and then that's I have to eat organic, and this and that. I'm like, yeah, but one strawberry is one
Right.
price here, and if you don't have paying $30 a
Hmm.
pound for a strawberry, you're going to get the other one. You don't have a choice. And here,
Yeah.
it's already pre. I mean, they
Yeah.
have organic and eco, but I mean, you don't see that in the grocery stores. I mean, the fruit's the fruit, so I'm
The
assuming it's
fruit.
all
Well,
organic, right?
well, and speaking of fruit, I mean, I'm getting bags of lemons and oranges and stuff from my neighbors because we live out here. So
I
there's
like
a lot
lemons
of
and
stuff.
oranges too.
Yeah, I have none to spare. I love it. I mean, I'm just like I'm looking at that tree. I know nothing's been on that tree, and not only is it amazing, it's also free.
Right.
So it's like you can also. This is a great climate if you want to grow your own stuff almost year round as well. I know
Yes.
you're limited if you live in the city, but if someone's thinking of moving outside the city, you can have a little spot and grow a lot of stuff too.
But I had a friend that came over the other day, and he saw the balcony. It's like because now we're getting all the sun in the city, right? The light shifting and the sun's
Oh,
over
okay.
our heads, so my front balcony gets all this light. And he's like, "You could totally plant and grow some vegetables out here. Look at all the." I'm like, "You can. I'm not, but you
No,
can. If you
not
want to
your thing.
come here and plant some tomatoes for me and get everything going, go right ahead."
No, no, no. I'm suggesting you make friends with the right people. That's what I did. I
Gotcha.
am only making friends with people around my urbanization that have fruit trees in their gardens.
Right.
Because then it's good stuff. Oh my god. But that is something that's kind of a joy, I think, as well. So I think that covers the things that I can think of today. But I'm sure there's plenty more. This might be a multi-episode
Well, I think we'll keep
situation.
coming back into
Yeah.
the smiles. But I think that's what we have for you. I hope we put a smile on your face,
Yep. So there you go.
you know.
Put a smile on my face.
Put one on mine too, and in my heart.
There you
So,
go.
so as we say here in Spain, adios.
Adios. Hasta luego, actually, because now you have to use the difference because adios is goodbye forever.
That's
So we kind of
right.
want people to come back. So hasta luego. Till
And then
next
they
time.
say ciao here, but they
And
spell
ciao
it
they say
differently,
sometime.
which like
Oh.
it's
Is that
not.
what you texted me the other day?
That's how you
That's the
spell
spelling
ciao.
for it? Okay,
Yeah.
I've never seen it
Now you know.
spelled.
I don't
Now
know.
I
You know
know.
what? And we're not going to tell you. Save that for the next episode.
Ooh. Sneaky.
All right. Bye,
All
all.
right. Bye. Hey, can't get enough of us? Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Our Spain Podcast.
And on our website, ospain.com, which we will be updating with exciting new things as we grow.
We would love for you to message us with any topics you would like to hear about.
See you next time.
Bye.